I'm extremely nervous right now. I've been wanting to record this video for a while, but I couldn't find the strength or the courage to actually record it. But my birthday is in 5 days or 4 days, and I'm grateful that I've reached this far and so close to my 23rd birthday. And it's because of the grace of God and His mercy towards me why I'm even sitting here today and recording this video. While I'm recording it, I don't know if I'm going to actually post it, but let's see. I hope when I share this story with you guys tonight, this evening, I hope it will do something for you. I hope it will change your perspective on life, health, the people around you, and you may just develop a greater appreciation for life and opportunities and love, Yeah, so let's get into the video. So it all happened about a year ago. It happened in May. I was approaching my final exams, and I was in my final year of undergrad. So you don't want to miss or mess up those exams. So I woke up one morning and I remember clearly I had some stuff to do, but I did not feel well. Like my body was trying to tell me something. It was trying to tell me to slow down, but I was not listening. Usual Kamisha style, I was persistent to get whatever I had to do done, and nothing was going to stop me. So I was not listening to my body. I got dressed and everything, and I went back in my bed to lay down a little bit because, as I said before, my body was trying to talk to me, but I was not listening to it. I was saying to my roommate, I think she was studying for some exam as well, and I was saying to her, Juju, me not feel good, but I could not explain to her exactly how I felt. My roommate knows that I have very poor eating habits. I eat very late. Sometimes I don't have breakfast any at all, and I would eat my first meal after all my classes are completed, and that's about 6ish, sometimes 10 o'clock. Just very poor eating habits. So she thought it was just one of those days where my body was reacting to my poor eating habits. So I guess at the time she wasn't paying much attention to it. Anyway, as I said before, I had things to do and I was determined to get them done. So I got up out of the bed and made my way to run my errands and stuff. I had about 4 stops to make. I made 2 stops on campus. I made 2 stops and I was making my way to the other one, and I was close by Rex Hall. So I said, honestly feel like if I walk on further, I'm going to drop down. So I went to Rex to my friend Annabella. She lived Petergate White. We call her Annabella. She lived at Rex at the time. So I said I can probably just go by her and lay down a little bit. I was laying down on the bed. I went there and lay down. I was telling her that I wasn't feeling well, but of course I could not explain how I felt. It was one of those feelings, you don't feel good, but you can't put your finger on it and say, I feel this or I feel that. And now I was feeling extremely nauseous. I was extremely cold. I'm walking in the pelting sun and I'm shivering. I'm cold, that's so cold. So I was laying on her bed and everything, and I was telling her, I have a few more places to go and whatever. And she said, you sure you want to get them done today? And I'm like, yes, I want to get it done today. Even with my body telling me, Kamisha, slow down. I was determined to get whatever I had planned to do done. Anyway, she said she was coming with me to run the other 2 errands. We went, and on my way back now, I really felt like this was it. I felt it, but I wasn't telling her. I was just holding on to her, and she was holding on to me, trying to support me as I walk. And then I think my body was just like, I told you, but you did not want to listen. This is it. And I just collapsed to the floor. I just dropped down. And I remember clearly that at the same time, RA for Taylor Hall, Stella at the time, she was passing or coming from the same direction we were coming from. and she saw that I was on the ground and whatever, and they were there with me. And I remember a truck came and they put me in the truck. I don't remember what happened after this part. The next thing I know, we made a stop somewhere and I was hearing a lot of noise, and we went somewhere else and made another stop. The next thing I know, I was in a wheelchair, and I realized that I was probably at the hospital now because it was a bigger space and it was more noise. The first stop actually was the health center on campus, and they were saying that they can't deal with this, they can't deal with me, so they have to bring me to the hospital. So that's how I ended up at the hospital. And I remember I was just crying. I don't remember what any doctor said to me. I don't remember who I saw. I was just crying and hyperventilating, and I wanted my mother. That's all I was saying. I want my mother, I want my mother, I want my mother. And then I don't even know where my phone was, but I know my friend Annabella, she knows the password to my phone. So I think she went in, opened it, and called my mom and stuff, and they told my mom that I was in the hospital. Yada yada yada. My mom came. No, I think they got her on the phone and they were asking me if I want to talk to her, but I could not talk. I was crying, and the little talking I could do, all I could say was, I want my mother. I just want my mother. I want my mother. I want my mother. That's all I was saying. The next thing I know, they could not control my breathing, so they had to put some machine on me and stuff, whatever that was, to help me to breathe properly. And I was on a bed. They do the regular stuff, drip and da 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 da, and string up the something to me so I can breathe properly. And I was there on the bed laying down. I was asleep at this time. So my mother came to the hospital now, and it's almost like I knew she was there. I know I recognized her and all of that, but I could not speak to her. Because I said before, I couldn't talk. And she looked at me and she told me afterwards, after I got out of the hospital and all of that, that she started crying because of how she saw a lot of machine and stuff coming from my body, and I just did not look good. My friends also came to the hospital the same day, and I recognized them and all of that, but I recognized my friends, but I could not speak to them. And I remember I started crying because they were there and I couldn't say anything to them, and I wasn't feeling good, and I just didn't know what to, it was just a hard time. And now they decided that they were going to admit me. So I was in there. The doctors, I don't think they even knew what they were doing, because they could not put their finger on something to say, okay, then this is what's wrong with her or whatever. I remember one doctor came and he was explaining to my mom what was happening, but as a mother is very concerned about her daughter, so my mother was asking a lot of questions, and his response to my mother was, ma'am, I'm just trying to keep your daughter alive. And I heard that, and I'm like, okay, then this is it. I'm about to die and they don't know how to help me, but he's just still trying. And then another doctor came. It was several doctors. I think because their shifts were ending or whatever, I had to experience multiple doctors. And it was the same procedures over and over when another one came. While I understood that they had to, do their checks to, do their own little doctor stuff, I understood that, but it was frustrating for me because everybody came, it was the same thing. Everybody want to joke me with some needle. Everybody want to take temperature. It was just so annoying because it was the same thing over and over again. So I was getting flustered, and I remember one of the doctors was like, oh, she's feisty or something like that. I'm like, what do you expect? I wasn't saying all of this because I couldn't talk, but I'm like, what do you expect? The following day, another doctor came and he was asking me a lot of questions, and as I said before, the same questions that the other ones were asking. And now I'm saying to myself, don't you have like a whole document or whatever with the responses I gave to all of these questions? You can just like make reference to it instead of having to put me through the stress of answering all these questions over again. So that was that stress on top of the stress of how my body was feeling and all of that. I had finished quite a number of drips. I don't remember the exact amount, but I had gone through quite a number of drips, more than 3 in like 2 days. No, in like a day. The day before that I had gotten some other one. And now I remember an intern came now, and he was doing the stuff that the other doctors did again. Of course, dropped me again and whatever. And I remember clearly that he wanted to insert the needle. What was it again? Here. He wanted to insert the needle someplace that it was not supposed to go. And his resident was just in time to say, no, don't put it there. So I almost got injection the wrong place, and then that was another stress, because I'm like, oh my god, these people are literally going to kill me off. So this was the following day now. Night came and everything. My friends came back, including the person I was dating at the time. He came as well. And my brothers from Stallion Republic, 2 of them, Ice Sage and Grinch. And my friends came as well. Chanel, Tony, and Annabella came back because she was there. She came like all the time, and she was the friend that came with me in the truck. So she went home, I guess, freshen up or whatever, and then she came back in the night again, you know, go and come back again. And it was just a difficult time. The uncertainty that surrounded the whole thing was stressful. So yeah, my friends came and everything. It felt good to have them there. No, I could talk a little bit, but not too much, because if I spoke too much, or the headache would intensify or whatever. It's crazy. I could not be touched. If you touch me, it's almost like my skin is on fire, all that jazz. No, you can't touch me because it would hurt. And then that was also stressful, because you know your friends are there even to hold your hand. That was hard, because I would feel pain if they touch me. So it was a depressing time, especially being in the hospital and all of that. No, it's almost like they wanted to make me stay in the hospital another night. Anyway, the doctors came and they were asking me how I felt and whatever. Remember, this is the month of my final exams. No, there's no way I'm going to miss my exams. And I said before, regular Kamisha style, I'm very determined. If I want it, I'm going to get it. And I said, I'm not going to stay in this hospital another night. I was saying that to myself. So the doctors came and everything, and they were checking me. My pressure had gone down because my pressure had gone sky high. Now when they came back to their final test and everything to decide if I could be discharged, my pressure was fine. My head was not hurting so much. The fever was down and all that jazz. So yeah, they said you can go home. And this time home was Taylor Hall. My mother insisted that she was taking me to Clarendon. And I said, no mommy, I am feeling better. I'm fit and fine. You know, my smile was bright. I was putting on a show because I did not want to go to Clarendon, because if I go, it means that I would probably miss my exams. I'm like, no mommy, I'm good. But you know, your mother knows when you're lying. She knows when you are not okay. And she knew I was not okay. And she decided that since I am adamant that I'm not going to Clarendon, she's going to stay in Kingston with me. So she decided to stay with me in Kingston because she was not going to leave me. Anyway, I remember I wanted her to get the impression that I was fine. So I went home and I was eating. I wasn't eating in the hospital. I went home and I was eating. Hold on. I ate in the hospital. I ate a cup soup. So that was the only thing I ate in the hospital. I had asked my partner at the time to get me a cup soup, and he came with it. Like, it was about 2 a.m. and he came with the cup soup. So that was the first and only time I ate in the hospital. Now remember, my mother wants to take me to Clarendon, and I want her to get the impression that I'm good, I don't need to go to Clarendon. So when I went home, even though I had no appetite, I tried to eat because I wanted her to buy the story that I was feeling better. So I went to my hall on Taylor Hall and I had some food. I ate it. I was trying not to show anything on my face. I was just trying to, you know, look like I was enjoying the food. You know, I was just trying to look, you know, healthy. Like I felt better. So my friends were there and we were all laughing and talking, and I'm laughing and I'm talking too, even though I felt like crap. I was laughing and talking and eating the food. I ate the food and I laid down and talked to my mother for like, 30 minutes or so. In no time, my body was back at it again, and everything came up. Everything I ate came right up. And then the bad feeling came again. And my mother was like, this is why I wanted to bring it to Clarendon. I know you're not good at Ray. But I want her to buy this story. I'm saying, Mommy, that's how my body behave with that particular food sometime, man. It's nothing personal or whatever. It's nothing. It has nothing to do with my health right now. It's just that the food probably never tastes good. And I was just telling her about a story. She was not buying it because, as I said before, your mother or your parents know when you're lying. Yeah. So night came and I was sleeping and everything, and I had a very high fever. Very, very high fever. Higher than it was at the hospital. But my mother was sleeping next to me, so she felt my body. She felt that I was hot. And she said, she woke me up. I don't remember what exactly she did, but she woke me up. She was praying, olive oil, you know how Christian mothers can be, and all that jazz. Long story short, I felt better. My fever wasn't so high again. I said, Mommy, you can go home now, so this was day one, spending the night with me. I said, Mommy, you can go home now and I'm fine. She said, no, she's not ready yet. Excuse me. Anyways, next day, I was still trying to eat for her, but it was, I was still trying to eat for her, but it wasn't staying down again. And I think I got something to eat. I don't remember what it was. I think my roommate probably cooked some food and it stayed down. And she was like, she'll watch me. So she said, I'm going to watch you. And the food has stayed down. And me, I pray that the food stayed down, because I don't want her to come back again with the go to Clarendon argument, because I want to get my exam done. Anyways, my fever was good. I was talking and I was fine. I said, Mommy, you can go home now. It was about 3 o'clock or so, and she decided to say, alright, maybe go home and call me if anything, I'm like, yeah, Mommy, I'll call you with her. Annabella and I walked her to the bus stop, and she went home and stuff. On our way back, I was saying to Annabella, I don't feel good, I don't feel good. And Annabella said, I know. Like, she was saying she knows I don't feel well. And I went home, I was laying in my bed, and just trying to comfort myself a little bit and not look too depressed or whatever. And I got back sick again. Couldn't tell my mother exactly, but one thing about her, she didn't stop praying for me. Even though I felt better, she didn't stop praying for me. My church people praying, my family members praying, like everybody was just praying. And I felt like in that time, what kept me together, it was the prayers of the people who love me and of the people who I love. My family never stopped praying for me. Backtrack. While my mother was there, so I came out of the hospital, I think the Saturday, and then the Sunday now, my aunt came, my 2 aunts, Auntie Shelley and Auntie Marva, as well as my cousin Abby, and her daughter Zenoya, and my grandfather, may his soul rest in peace. They all came to see me. And of course, my Aunt Shelley, she brought some stuff for me. She brought Ensure and some other things that she felt I needed to be drinking and eating. And she also brought dinner. Now, I had told my roommate not to cook because my auntie was bringing dinner. And of course, I'm going to definitely allow my roommate to get half of the dinner. So she didn't have to cook. So we ate that dinner. Well, actually, my roommate ate it. I ate a little bit of it because my body wasn't allowing all of it to stay down. So, as I was saying, the support I had at that time, family and friends who cared about me, and the prayers kept me going. Anyway, that was a Sunday. My family left now, and I was now on my own to take care of myself in the moment. They were still calling me every single day, 110 times a day, to check up on me and whatever. And of course, I wasn't always being truthful about how I felt, because I didn't want to have them worrying about me. It's already stressful for me to be going through this. I don't want to take on the stress of having my family worrying about me, because if they're worrying about me, that's extra stress on me, because I don't want them to ever worry about me. So I wasn't being entirely truthful about how I felt. So my exams were in 2 days. Yeah, they would start in 2 days, and I had to study for them, of course. So most of my notes or the resources that I would use to prepare for the exam, they were on my laptop. I could not read from the laptop. If I started to look on the screen, it's almost like it's pulling my eyeballs and I just get an instant headache. And I'm like, no, this is not going to happen because I can't, make the headache get worse because I need to be good enough to do the exam. I said, alright then, I have some notes in the book. It wasn't much, but I had to use the notes in the book. But I also wanted the chunk of the notes was on the laptop. So I had my partner read the notes to me. So he was reading to me what was on it, and that worked. But after a time, I was getting annoyed and I'm very miserable, and he couldn't deal with it, but he was still trying to read to me and all of that. And as I said that, my attitude at the time, my attitude was stink. I was very fussy. I was very miserable. I was a mess emotionally. And I know that was affecting the people around me, because my roommate only came in the room to make sure I ate and to check up on me. She was not like staying there full time because she could not deal with my nasty attitude and me being miserable. I don't even know what I was fussing about, but I was miserable and I didn't even look good. So she couldn't deal with me not looking good either, I think. She has never said it, but I think that was it. My other friends came by every now and again, but as I said before, it must have been hard for them to look at me like that, because usually I'm up and about, my mouth is big and loud, and I'm talking and I'm laughing and I'm just, having a good time and, being a good sport. So they're not used to me just laying there helplessly and fussy at the same time. So they didn't like come in the room and stay. They may come for a half an hour, leave, come back for another half an hour, that kind of thing. But my partner was there like all the time. And he was just dealing with everything. Me being fussy, me being, me looking like I'm going to die kind of thing. Yeah. And so that was my exam day. I woke up the morning. I didn't feel ready enough for the exam, but I know I couldn't fail the exam, because my coursework grades were good, and it's not like my mind was blank. I was listening in class and attending my lectures, so I knew the content. So it's not like I was going to fail the exam. I know I could not fail the exam, but was I going to get an A? That's where it was. So I woke up ready to go to the exam, went to the bathroom to bathe and everything. I came out of the bathroom. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, mommies and daddies, aunties and uncles, grandparents, my skin was on fire. It would not stop itching me. It would not. And then at one point I thought I could just control it by just using both hands. What? Not happening. It reached a point that the itching was so bad, my roommate had to be helping me as well. She was using a comb as well as her hands to scratch my skin while I'm scratching, because it was just not stopping. So on top of it scratching, it was also burning. But I think I could endure the burn, but just not the scratching. And we were scratching and scratching and scratching. I would not stop scratch. Yeah, we stopped eventually because I was going to do that exam. My exam was at 9 o'clock. I was scratching up to 8:30. Scratching and scratching, I'm a non-stop scratch. And I think I went back into the shower and just probably washed off again. I don't remember exactly, but long and short of the story, the itching stopped. And I was ready to go to my exam. I saw my friend Chanel coming down because she lived above me. I saw her coming down and she was saying, I'm like, you have exam too? She said, no, I am coming to the exam with you. I'm like, how are you going to do that? She's saying that she's not going to come and sit in, but she's going to come make sure that I sit in and I'm okay and whatever. I thought that's what she was going to do. I'm like, oh, thank you, you're so sweet. She came to the exam, I went in the room, and the young lady, Chanel, she spoke to an invigilator and was telling the woman that, she's my friend, she's not well, she was in the hospital a few days ago, keep an eye on her. I'm like, you're so sweet. I didn't know all of this though. I was in the exam and writing my exam. I could manage the questions, doing my exam and everything, until my body started to talk to me again. I'm like, okay, buddy, what are you trying to say? I'm in my exam, relax. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, mommies and daddies, aunties and uncles and grandparents, I feel like said this is it now. Like I feel like me just I got lock off right because I could not breathe. I raised my hand, and you know it take a while for them come to you because it was in the big place. I raised my hand and it was up a little bit with my head on the desk, and an invigilator came to me and I was saying to her, because I couldn't, you know, I feel like if I spoke I was using up energy, so I was like, and she was like, we don't have any water in here. I'm like, okay, can I go to a pipe and get some water to drink? And she was saying, no, there's no pipe. I'm like, okay, can I go to the bathroom? At this point I was willing to drink the water that was coming from, I was willing to drink the bathroom water. Of course not the water in the toilet, but the water in the sink that you should use to wash your hand. Now I don't know if it's dirty and I don't care. I just need some water. I literally just needed some water. At this point I felt like I can't breathe. She said no. I'm like, oh my God, devil, where did you come from? I'm like, this woman is Satan himself. Anyway, of course I'm not going to argue with her. I put my head on the desk, you know, trying to, you know, hold it together. I raised my hand again. She came back. And I said, can I go to the bathroom? Because at this time, my hope said she sent me to the bathroom now so I can go drink the water from the pipe. She said no. And I'm like, miss, I'm just coming out of the hospital. I'm actually not feeling so well. And her response was, you have to take that up with exams, as in the center that deals with, the department that deals with examination and all stuff related to exam. And I'm like, okay. And then she said, and if you know that you're not feeling well, how you must come and come do exam? I'm not going to argue with this woman. So I'm like, okay. And I put my head back on the desk. I literally felt like I stopped writing at this point. And this was like going on to almost 30 minutes of begging and pleading with this woman. I raised my hand again, and the woman, the invigilator that Chanel had spoken to, she came to me, and I was like, miss, I need some water. And she said okay, and she left, and she came back with a bottled water. So I'm assuming that she went somewhere to buy the water, and I drank the water and I keep my head down for about 15 minutes. I think at one point too I fell asleep, and I drank the water. I was feeling better enough to do the exam. So I finished the exam and everything, and I went to her and I told her thank you. I told her how she saved my life and all that jazz, and she was saying, your friend spoke to me, and I'm like, my friend? And she's like, yeah, the girl that you came with, I saw when you guys were coming in, and when you walked in she stopped me and she was saying yada yada yada. And I'm like, thank God for Chanel, and thank God for this invigilator who is very understanding. So I managed to have done my exam. I went back to my room now, not feeling so well. I was just dying to reach in the bed, and it's almost like my body again was telling me something, but I was not getting what it was saying. The only thing that I could eat and it stayed down was soup, juicy soup. So my partner usually go to Juice in the mornings and get me soup, so that is what I could, you know, stay down. So usually sometimes I'm just eating soup alone, drinking soup alone, and, you know, a fruit juice or something, and they ensure that my aunt bought. So my meal for the day would be, or my meals for the day, would be the soup, juicy. I'd have that for breakfast, and then I'll have an Ensure, but I'll drink it twice because I couldn't drink off all of it. All of it wouldn't stay down, so I had to drink half and half. So that was what I was eating. So I went back to my room and I drank half of the Ensure and slept, and, you know, I was feeling okay-ish. So some days I felt like I was feeling good, and other days I'm like, no, not so good. As I spoke about Chanel and how thankful I am for her, she didn't leave my side. Not only her, but my other friends as well. Annabella didn't leave me. My roommate, they didn't leave me. While they could not deal with me being fussy and whatever, as time went by and I was feeling a little bit better and I was not so fussy, they were around more often. Like, they could stay with me in the room for the whole day. Prior to that, they would just like come and check on me and leave. And I understood that, because it's kind of hard to look at someone that you love going through pain and all of that. I felt like what made all of that easier to go through was the love and support that I had around me. My family was there for me, my church people, they were praying and calling, and my friends, they were very supportive. I remember too, during that whole time, my hair was a mess because comb not touch me ear. In the hospital, no comb. I come out, no comb. And Chanel came to my room one day and she saw how bad my hair was looking, and she literally took me, washed my hair, and combed it. And I'll insert a picture. She literally came and washed my hair and combed it. And I felt like the whole situation, it just shows me how, or showed me how, I feel like the whole situation just opened my eyes to life, you know, to the true meaning of life, what it means to live, what it means to have people around you that care about you, people who are willing to stick by you in sickness and in health. I think it also showed me the people in my life who I should never let go of. I think it showed me too how unpredictable life is. I mean, that whole situation as it is was hard to go through, but it was even harder because of the uncertain, like I did not know what was wrong with me. The doctors couldn't tell me what was wrong with me. All he could tell my mother, I'm just trying to keep her daughter alive. Another doctor came and he was just telling me what he thinks. I may be having a migraine. I almost had a stroke. I was not getting like definite answers to what I was feeling, and that was hard. It was even hard because I could not communicate with the people who I love in that time because I could not talk. It opened my eyes to the things that we often take for granted. I could not eat in that time. I could not brush my teeth. Brushing my teeth was painful. It reached a point where I didn't even. So for like 2 days, my teeth was not brushed. I was just using mouthwash or whatever, just not to have a bad breath or to kill whatever bacteria or whatever. But the things that we take for granted, that whole situation made me more grateful for all of them. It reached a point where because I was not eating, my body was feeding on itself literally. My stomach walls were just eating itself away and digesting itself. It reached a point where my stomach was so damaged, it started to hurt me so badly. And the medication that the doctors gave me, they were also killing me slowly. So they were making the situation worse. I'll feel good right now, and as soon as I take the medication, I'm a whole wreck. But the pain I was feeling in my belly it was unbearable. So I decided that I was going to call Daddy G. Now Daddy G is or was a RA at Taylor at the time, and he's a doctor. So I called him and I was explaining to him how I felt, and he was like, I'm coming over in the evening, meet me at the front for the medication. And I think my friend went for it. So I got the medication and I took it, and in like 3 days my stomach walls were, building back, so to speak. And I was trying to eat now because I was drinking the soup and having the Ensure. While I was not having a whole lot of stuff to eat, I was having enough to not allow my stomach to feed on itself. But the whole thing was hard to go through. And I decided to do this video because it's approaching my 23rd birthday, a year and a little bit since all of that. And I'm just looking at the fact that last year could have been my last year. Had it not been for the grace of God and people who love me and care about me, I would not be here today recording this video. And the whole thing just opened my eyes to be more appreciative of the people that we have around us, and I felt like this whole thing needed to happen, because had it not happened, I would not know that my friends loved me so much or cared about me so much. Remember the part of the story where I was saying my skin started to itch me and all of that? When I came back from exam, my roommate gave me a soap that she went to Papi to get that would help with all the itching and stuff. So I think Aika had told her about a soap that she can get, and they were doing some research about the soap or whatever the case was. Long and short of the story, I got a soap to help with my skin and all of that. And I mean, I don't ever want to lose those people who stood by me in that time, because it was hard to go through. It was stressing for me, so I can imagine how it felt for them. Some things that happened, like if you know me, you know that things that mean a lot to me, I don't forget, and things that hurt me a lot, I don't forget. The way they stood by me, it is something I'm never taking for granted. It's something that I still think about. Since the start of this month, and if you follow me on Instagram at chem.gem, then you would have seen a post I made at the start of the month. And since the month started, I've just been reflecting on how I almost didn't make it here. I'm just reflecting on the whole thing. And that is why it's kind of so hard to talk about, because every time I think about it, all I can think about was how that year could have been my last year. The uncertainty that surrounded the whole thing was stressing me out, because I did not know what was wrong with me, and the doctors could not give me a thing to say, okay, then this is what's wrong with you. It was just hard. It was really, really hard. The whole experience was, it's life-changing, and today I think about it as one of the most defining moments of my life. You know, the uncertainty that surrounded the whole thing was already, it was so stressful, and it's just something that I don't want other people to have to go through, and to go through alone. Because I don't think I would be here recording this video if I did not have the support of my family, my church family, my friends, you know, the whole work. I don't think I would have been here. I think I would have just been eaten away by depression. Depression would have killed me, and anxiety, and you know, all those other terrible things would have killed me. I mean, today I still don't know what's wrong with me, and that's okay, because I trust that God has a plan for my life. The fact that last year was not my last year, it means that my purpose on this earth has not yet been fulfilled. Last year could have been my last year, but God said no. He said, I'm not finished with you yet. Your work on earth is not yet done. And I don't take that for granted that I'm here today. I don't take it for granted that last year was indeed not my last year. I don't take it for granted that 5 days from now or 4 days from now will be my 23rd birthday. Since that whole experience, my approach to life has been very different. Like, I seize the opportunity, because today is promised, tomorrow is not. Like, today you're here, you are still watching this video. My advice to you is to live for you, is to love, laugh, live boldly, make use of every opportunity that is given to you. Enjoy today. You don't know what the future holds. And just be grateful for every single day that you get a chance to breathe. Be grateful for every day that you get to talk to your friends. Be grateful for every day that you get to laugh and eat, and be grateful for every day that you get to breathe, and another opportunity at life to make things right. Thank you so much for watching this video up to this point, and if you have not already done so, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and click that notification bell so you don't miss when I post another video. My birthday is the 20th. I'll be doing a birthday vlog and also be doing 2 giveaways. So stay tuned for that. And again, I just want to say thank you to everyone all the people who have been supporting me, who have subscribed, who have shared my video. I am super grateful. Thank you so much. And as I said before, if you have not already done so, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to live in the moment, love, laugh, and do all the things that make you happy. Love and light, always.